Hi, I'm Ava. And I slept with my husband's stepmother while he was home. I know how that sounds. I also know it didn't start that night. Not really. It started months ago. At their wedding. She wore a champagne silk dress that clung like she wasn't sorry about anything. Her name is Delilah. She's 40, maybe. No kids. No past. Just teeth and perfume and a smirk like she knew your secrets before you did. My husband, Ben, said she was weird but nice. I said she was intimidating. What I didn't say, what I never told him, was that when she hugged me, her lips brushed my ear and my knees nearly gave out. Tonight, she came over for dinner. She brought wine. My husband grilled steaks. We laughed too loud. She touched my wrist when she poured me a second glass and called me darling. I felt that word in places my husband has never reached. Ben went upstairs after dessert, said he had emails to finish. Delilah and I were left with half a bottle of Pinot Noir and a kitchen full of awkward silence. I cleared the dishes. She leaned back against the counter and watched me. You two always eat in silence after sex, she asked, swirling her glass. I blinked. Excuse me, she smiled. Just a guess. You seem hungry. I froze. She stepped forward. Her heels clicked on the tile. Expensive. Slow. Her eyes never left mine. I wore this dress for you, she said. I looked down. It was dark green silk. Thin straps. No bra. I could see the outline of her nipples. My mouth went dry. Why? I asked, barely a whisper. Delilah stepped closer. Close enough to smell her. Warm amber and something bitter. Because you look like the kind of girl who likes to sin quietly, she said. Her fingers trailed up my bare arm. Am I wrong? I didn't answer. She placed her wine glass on the counter without looking. Then she touched my face, not sweetly, not gently. She tilted my chin up and kissed me. Her mouth was hot, demanding. Her tongue slid between my lips like it had every right to be there. I moaned into her mouth. God help me, I did. Her hand slid into my hair and tugged, hard enough to make me gasp. She pulled away just enough to whisper. On your knees. My body moved before my mind caught up. I sank, and the floor was cold. She didn't touch me right away. She just stood there, looking down, the corner of her mouth curling, as if this was exactly how she imagined me, knees pressed to the tile. Thighs squeezed together, eyes wide and waiting. Good girl, she said slowly. I knew you'd kneel. I opened my mouth, but no sound came out. Her heel nudged my thigh. You've thought about this, she said, haven't you? I looked away. Look at me. I did. She crouched in front of me, slow and graceful. Her hand came up, fingertips brushing the side of my face like she was checking for heat. Are you bored of him? She asked, voice low. I blinked. What? She leaned in, lips nearly brushing mine again. Your husband. Are you bored of him? I swallowed. She didn't wait for my answer. Her palm slid down to my collarbone, tracing the neckline of my blouse. He fucks you soft, doesn't he? She whispered. Like he's trying not to wake the neighbors. I whimpered. Not yes. Not no. Delilah's nails scraped gently down my chest. He doesn't make you ache, she said. He doesn't make you beg. I don't beg, I lied. She smiled like she already knew I was lying. Then she leaned in, breath hot against my ear. You're wet right now. I flushed. Her hand slid lower. Don't move, she murmured. She pressed her palm to my inner thigh through my jeans. Hard, I gasped. Are you shaking? She asked. I nodded. She undid the button. She didn't ask permission. She slid her hand down the front of my jeans, slow, and then she found it. That slick heat I couldn't hide anymore. "Oh," she purred. "Look at you." I bit my lip. My hips twitched forward on instinct. "You were wet when I kissed you," she said. "Weren't you?" My voice barely made it out. "Yes." Delilah pulled her hand back slowly and brought her fingers up between us. Glistening. Proof. She looked me in the eyes as she licked it clean, slow and vulgar. Then, footsteps. Upstairs, the floor creaked. My heart stopped. Delilah didn't even flinch. Her eyes narrowed. Her voice dropped. "If he comes down here," she said, "you won't move. Do you understand?" I nodded. My body was fire and ice. She stood up again, adjusted her dress like nothing happened. Then she smiled and walked behind me. I stayed on my knees, waiting. My knees were starting to ache. But I didn't move. Delilah walked behind me, her heels clicking in slow, deliberate circles, like she was inspecting merchandise. She hadn't touched me again. Not yet. She didn't need to. "I've seen how you look at me," she said from somewhere behind. "When he isn't watching. When you think no one is." My cheeks burned. I told myself you were just curious, lonely. Vanilla girls like you usually are. She came to a stop. But now, her voice dropped an octave. "Now I see you're starving." I let out a shaky breath. "Tell me I'm wrong," she said. I didn't. A pause. Then the softest command. "Say it." "I want you," I whispered. Not good enough. My stomach tightened. "I want you, Delilah." She stepped closer. Still not enough. My eyes shut. I want you to fuck me." A beat. Then I felt her hand in my hair again. "That's better." She grabbed a fistful of it and tugged my head back, exposing my throat. I gasped. Her lips brushed my ear. "Beggy," I moaned. "Please," I said. She tightened her grip. "Beg like you don't care if he hears." My voice cracked. "Please, Delilah. I want your mouth on me. I want your hands. I want to taste you. Please." A low, pleased laugh in my ear. She let go. "Unbutton your jeans." I did. Slide them down. All the way. They pooled around my knees. I was bare underneath. Delilah moved around front. She leaned down and stared at me. "Spread your legs." I did. She dropped to her knees across from me, lifted my chin, and then she kissed me again. Slower this time. Her tongue moved like it had all the time in the world. One hand slid between my thighs, the other cupped my jaw, fingers digging in just enough to bruise. I was panting, melting. She slipped a finger inside me, and I nearly collapsed. "You were made for this," she whispered against my lips. "Not to be adored. To be used." My hands clutched her shoulders. My body arched forward, and that's when we heard it. A creak on the stairs. I froze. Delilah didn't. She looked past me, smiled. "Don't stop," she said. "No matter what happens." And I knew he was coming downstairs. The sound of his bare feet on the stairs was quiet, but not quiet enough. I turned my head. Delilah grabbed my jaw and pulled it back to her. "Ayas on me," she whispered. "Don't you dare." I obeyed, because that was easier than facing what was behind me. "Baby." Ben's voice from the top of the stairs. "Did you move my charger?" Delilah kissed me again. Harder, more possessive. Her hand was still between my legs. Slow, relentless. Her thumb pressed exactly where I couldn't hide the truth. I whimpered. "Is that him?" She murmured against my lips. I nodded. "Good," she said. Then louder, calm, sweet. "Weaponized in here, Ben." Kitchen. I gasped. No. She grabbed my chin again. Yes. I heard his footsteps move down the hallway. Too fast. Too trusting. He turned the corner and stopped. Dead. I didn't need to look to know the shape of his silence. He saw everything. His wife on her knees, pants around her ankles, flushed and open, her head buried against his stepmother's neck, her hand inside me. Delilah didn't even flinch. She turned her head slightly toward him, smiled. You left her starving, she said. Ben made a sound, some mix of confusion and horror, but didn't move. Delilah looked down at me. You want to stop now? She asked softly, sweetly. No, I breathed. She slid another finger inside me and I moaned, louder this time on purpose. Ben gasped. Delilah looked back up at him. Watch her. Watch what she becomes when you're not pretending to love her right. He said my name. Just once. But I didn't respond. I was moaning into Delilah's throat, clawing at her waist, rocking into her hand. She whispered in my ear, make eye contact. I turned slowly, met Ben's eyes. His jaw was clenched. His hands shaking. I stared at him. While she fucked me. While she whispered filth into my ear. While her fingers drove me toward the edge. I didn't blink. I didn't cry. And he didn't leave. I didn't look away. Not even when Delilah's fingers slid deeper. Not even when I felt my body begin to clench around her, betraying every vow I ever made. Ben stood in the hallway like he'd been shot in the stomach and couldn't decide whether to scream or collapse. His mouth opened, then closed. His eyes begged me to stop. Mine told him I wouldn't. Delilah's lips brushed my ear again. You're so fucking wet, she whispered. I never made you this wet, did he? I shook my head. My breath hitched. My hands clutched her thighs, fingernails digging into silk. Say it, she said. No, I panted. Never. Delilah grinned against my cheek. Good girl. She pushed me down, gently but firmly, so that my cheek was pressed to her thigh. My knees slid wider across the tile. Her fingers curled inside me. Rhythmic, perfect. My thighs trembled. My body fought it and chased it at the same time. I felt the heat build, deep and furious, dragging me toward the edge like a tide I couldn't fight. Delilah gripped a fistful of my hair, and that was it. My back arched, my mouth opened, and I shattered, right there on the kitchen floor, with her fingers in my hair, with my husband watching from the doorway. I didn't cry out. I moaned. Low. Deep. Raw. Like I was giving something up. Delilah held me through it, whispering filth and praise as my body spasmed and clenched around her hand. She slowed her fingers, but didn't stop. Not until my hips jerked from oversensitivity. Only then did she pull out, slow and wet, and let go of my hair. I slumped forward, chest rising and falling, sweat cooling on my skin. Ben was still there, still frozen, still watching. Delilah stood, adjusted her dress like she'd only straightened a napkin. Then she turned to him and said, Now do you understand? I was still on the floor, chest heaving, thighs wet, skin buzzing, and I wasn't hiding, not from him, not anymore. Ben didn't speak, couldn't. His face was hollow, eyes unfocused, like he wasn't sure what planet he'd landed on. Delilah crouched in front of me. Calm, polished, composed like she hadn't just ruined everything with her fingers. She lifted my chin with 2 fingers, then wiped the corner of my mouth with her thumb. You made a mess, she whispered. I nodded. She smiled. You're welcome. Then she kissed me. Longer this time. No urgency, no permission. She kissed me like I was hers and had always been. My lips parted. I kissed her back. Because I didn't care anymore. Because part of me was still trembling and the other part wanted more. She stood. Looked at Ben like he was the waiter who brought the wrong bottle of wine. She begged for it, she said simply. And she'll beg again. Ben didn't speak. Didn't blink. I slowly pulled my jeans up. My shirt stuck to my back with sweat. The room smelled like wine, sex, and something unspoken that wouldn't leave with a window open. I stood. I walked past Delilah, and I looked at Ben. I could have said sorry. I could have cried. I could have told him I was lost. But instead, I said the only true thing I had left. I wanted it. Then I left the kitchen. And I didn't look back.